What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming to the week of July 9th. We have about 4 games coming out this week, some that I could get exact dates for. Some of these are games, two of these games I've been waiting for. I think one of them specifically I've been waiting for a very long time. The other one I've talked about a lot. And the other two are ones that I'm actually interested in trying out for once. And I think I will be able to try my Gen Con. I will be at Gen Con in the next 3 weeks now, I believe. So Gen Con's August, I believe, 2nd or 3rd. So I'll be there for that whole weekend, and I'm really excited. I'm going to be trying to do the most coverage possible and talk about all the games I played and tried out there, and try to just bring you some fun stuff that I've done out there, and coverage, of course. Specifically, update you on some games and my opinion on games that are be coming out that week, and some demos that I'll be doing. I am excited, and I am ecstatic, because I did not think I was going to be going to Gen Con. I called it quits. I was like, I can't get a roommate. I really need to figure this out, and I managed to find someone to room with. It's my buddy Wes from Quackalope. He is going to be the one I'm rooming with. We got a hotel right across the street from the convention. I am super excited to be going. So if you see me at Gen Con, and I'll remind you a couple times to say hi to me, and let's play a game, let's talk, chit chat, something. Let's get this video going. I'm covering the games coming to retail in the US. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, if a game's release date gets pushed back, I will make sure to update you about the new release date for that game in its respective video. Let's get these games showcased. Let's show off these games. Coming out this week, Vampire Chapters of Masquerade. Vampire Masquerade Chapters. This game was on Kickstarter I don't know at this point, 5 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, a little less. This is a game I've been waiting for. I actually did back in. I'm still waiting for it. It's filling right now. However, it's coming to retail, which is always great. Like I said, I love it when games come to retail and you don't have that FOMO, or you just can't grab something you should be able to grab. I don't like those FOMO tactics, even though I used to do them all the time and I'm always falling victim to them. Vampire the Masquerade Chapters is a RPG style board game. It has a whole story driven game system, and in that game system you're going to be playing through a campaign with your vampire characters who have different attributes and abilities, and this stuff is going to be upped by very, very similar. Actually, I want to make this comparison real quick. This game reminds me a lot of playing the tabletop role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade, only because the stats are very similar, and I think that's where the inspiration came from at that point. The stats are very similar. The way you upgrade, the way you do attacks, it all depends on a dice rolling system, and it's all basically, it combines all the best elements of an RPG game and puts them in the board game, the board game. This is more accessible for me. It's really difficult for me to get together with a group to play the tabletop RPG game, only because it's hard to do that, and also when you have 4 other D&D campaigns running, it's hard to do that. They also throw in a vampire game, so this kind of brings all the great elements of that and mixes them with modern board gaming, and it makes it easier to access. And it's all based on a campaign story driven game. That's what the Vampire the Masquerade Chapters is. And it's going to include a bunch of content, over 45 scenarios and side quests, investigations, dialogues, combat. A lot of fun stuff. They have some great gameplay video here for you to watch. I highly recommend this game. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hitting that $80+ mark, US dollar mark. So I recommend doing a lot of research, be that smart consumer, and look into it a little more. Only because you never know. However, the game looks gorgeous. I have been waiting for this game for a long time, and I'm excited for my copy to come in and I can do some coverage and play it out. Some great pictures, some great components. The gameplay does seem fun, and I do love the fact that it's cooperative. I love a good campaign. I love a good story. So I am pumped and ready. Lots of review and coverage coming out. So check it out. Vampire Chapters of Masquerade coming out this week to retail. Coming up next, that will be releasing July 12th, is going to be Miller Zoo. So Miller Zoo is a game I talk about a lot. It's going to be by Randolph in collaboration with Hachette, who is going to be distributing the game. Miller Zoo. It's a very simple family-style cooperative game based off a zoo up in Canada. That and all, even the characters you look at, like the cards here, those are actually the real staff members. This game's extremely simple. It's really simple, and I like that sometimes, a simple game to just kind of take it easy with. There's a lot of other games as well that can be done the same way. However, I'm interested. I love animals. I love the whole thing about helping and taking care of animals. I love that so much. I love the theme. That's something I can get into. I'm definitely more of a player who likes heavier, medium to heavy games. Light games are fun too because it's easy, and also I like light games to introduce people to games. One of the biggest things about board gaming for me is introducing people to new games. And that can come at a different pace. Someone who's experienced with like board game, I don't know, played a lot of Uno, Monopoly, that stuff, can be more enthusiastic about playing certain games. Or someone who's familiar, compared to someone who's like brand new and fresh. Miller Zoo is like one of those games you use to introduce these brand new people to board games. Even playing it with kids, all you're really doing on your turns is you're going to be collecting resource cards, and it's going to be a little bit push your luck. You're going to be collecting these resource cards to try to fulfill different conditions going on in the zoo, and at the same time you're bringing in new animals. You're trying to fill up the sanctuary over in Quebec, and you're trying to do that by using your resources. The resources you pull are going to be from cards, and it can be very random and sporadic. You just don't know where you're going to pull it. However, different abilities and such that the characters get help you manage that a little more efficiently. The first few games apparently are really easy. There's going to be a little bit of a legacy aspect to the game where you're going to be like bringing things in, taking things out the whole time. Of course, when you lose the first time, you get something. When you pass the level with certain conditions, you do something as well. It's a legacy style game. I want to try it. I want to play it out only because, hey, simple game, super great. I play a lot of very big, medium, heavy, crunchy games, and sometimes a light game can be really good and refreshing. And like I said, this game can be used to bring in other gamers into the table in a little more slower pace, as well as getting those young gamers more accustomed slowly into board gaming. This is Miller Zoo. It's coming out by Randolph and Hachette Board Games on July 12th. Coming up next, coming out July 13th, is going to be Diplomacy with Renegade Games distributing. I believe actually Renegade Games is bringing this game out. So, Diplomacy, coming out July 13th. This is going to be an interesting one. The reason why I say that's because in this game, there's a lot of negotiation. I really enjoy my negotiation in games. I think it's a really fun mechanic. And when you have the right people, it's just funny and cool to see like people cave into some like maybe a deal that you don't think is really good, but you're just laughing from the convincing, like they convince someone else. I love seeing the interactions between people. So in Diplomacy, you're playing as some of the nations over in Europe, and you're going to be negotiating and talking about of what your plans are going to be. Your goal is to have a certain amount of supplies to win the game. And when you do so, you're going to be negotiating, talking amongst your other players to let them know, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Would you be willing to do X if I do X? All this stuff. And you don't have to be a man of your word. Like, you can literally fib and lie the whole thing and make it up. And you will be able to, and that would be part of like your alliances, I guess, right? Like that's the conditions you are creating while doing that. So that's kind of the thing of the game. And if you look on the board here that I'm trying to show you, hopefully this is kind of reflecting the video, because I think I've had it in the past where it doesn't. You're going to try to control locations and claim control of supplies. If you have more supplies in your units, you get to add more units to your army, right? But if you have less, you're playing off and deducting units from your army. So you have to kind of find out that happy medium, as well as trying to make the best negotiations possible in Diplomacy. It's in the game. Cool game. I want to try it out really bad. I hope I can find someone with a copy, only because this is definitely a game I want to play or try before I buy. This is Diplomacy, coming out July 13th. Coming up next, and our last one, is going to be Acquire, coming out July 13th as well. Acquire, right? This game is extremely old. It's been around a long time. Now they're revamping it with some cool miniatures and stuff and an update. It looks pretty neat. This game is pretty popular. I think a lot of people talk about this game. In Acquire, it's capitalism at its finest. You're building a real estate empire. And when you build that real estate empire, you have hotels. These hotels are going to have stock. You want to buy stock and make your investments and double those investments. Capitalism. This game came out like in the 1930s, I believe, and it's been remade by different publishers. Remade in the sense of like the rules are all practically the same, but like they have different iterations of it, right? And now Renegade's taking a shot at it, and they're making it with some really cool looking structures. Look at those. And I can't wait to see like a full board with those. It looks super neat. And yeah, if you like, I say this with agreement, if you like capitalism, nothing wrong with liking what you like. In Acquire, you're basically, you're doing that. You're going to be gaining hotels, and hotels are going to be merging. You want to make sure you make the best investments when you're investing in these hotels, because you want to double your investments. So you're trying to find out how you can position yourself in this economy style game to try to get the most money. And yeah, that thing that happens, if you look at the board, you're going to have these blocks you're going to be putting down, and they're going to be considered hotels or areas that hotels have kind of influence under. And then once they collect, they're going to be merged into one massive hotel. And those hotels are going to be like a big chain, right? Like one hotel just bought all these hotels, and that's going to increase your price of like what you have. You invest, you merge, and you expand. You want to be the richest investor. Yeah, game's been around for a long time. I haven't played it. This is actually another one I really want to try. I think I can possibly schedule a demo at Gen Con only because I want to give it a shot. And if I like the game, maybe I'll pick it up. I do like the board, by the way. The board is really neat, only because it reminds me of Foundations of Rome a little bit. That's really the only reason why. This game, I don't think this game plays similar in any way. It does not. It doesn't play like that, like Foundations of Rome in any way, shape, or form. That Foundations of Rome is a great game. So this is gonna be Acquire coming out July 13th, and I'm going to hope to get some coverage for this game done because I am interested. So we'll see. July 13th, Acquire, Renegade Games. And that's it. We are at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for making it this far. That is awesome. The fact that you just want to sit here and listen to me talk about some games that I want to inform you about the new release dates, and I want to talk about and learn about it myself is always good. I appreciate that. Thank you for the company. If you're watching this video and you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing, liking, dropping a comment. Anything helps. Sharing the video as well. Subscribing definitely helps as well. Only so we can increase what we're doing here and get the word out more about these games. Growing the community, we can have a little fun community here, enjoying the games and talking about what we're buying and what we're going to be playing. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Have a good one.